It's a problem when you claim to be willing to negotiate, but that's in bad faith and you're actually ready to kill them. I wouldn't say that's 100% going to happen, like he's 100% going to feel that way, but I imagine he's probably thinking that a little bit, right? Like maybe it feels that way if you're like super immersed. If you're like, super immersed, it just feels like the lefties have been saying it the whole time. Well, here's the thing, it's just like both sides can retaliate. Parry's not actually addressing the point. Parry, you know Parry is just desperate now, okay? This is working, I'll give it to him, it's working, but he's desperate.
I would ask if you have anything else, but you'll probably call that a Destinyism.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, obviously. There's other ways to say that, but you say it in the most Destiny way possible. It's pathetic, yes.
Let's watch Parry versus Lonerbox. Let's move on from the Charlie Kirk stuff now. We might come back to it in a bit. There's some more content built up to talk about. I want to see the Parry and Lonerbox debate. Do I need to see the Lonerbox segment? Did Lonerbox talk about me much? What did he say? Did anyone watch this? We love Loner. He said he's a Kuihman. He called himself a Kuihman apologist. We love Loner. We love Loner.
People, I feel like whoever did such a thing would be rightfully criticized for trying to push things in the worst direction. Now, again, maybe the outcome is being
let's run the let's
get aid into Gaza through the chief of staff or anyone else. So, yeah, I think it would apply to them.
So what? Parry calls into his
quite easily, okay. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, that yeah, probably these people, there's like a good justification to like blow them up, but I feel like if you did so...
Wait,
under the
he's already in at this point.
I don't know if I would lose that much. You got assassinated.
I feel like Parry's gonna get totally fucking mollywopped here, I'm not gonna lie.
The table, no. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, about this famine report. So I read this famine, I skimmed the conclusion of this... Hi, Loner... Hello,
who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm streaming. Is that okay, or do you want like exclusive rights?
Yeah,
to
that's
this?
fine.
Okay.
No, you can stream. It's fine.
All right. Well, anyway,
if you can link it to some other dude, I'll take it.
I'm talking about the bombing stuff.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the bombing? It seemed like you were leaning towards it being unjustified.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any convincing. I mean, I've seen people saying that the leadership in Gaza would be more serious negotiators. But I don't know enough about Qatar's role in exactly how symbiotic like their relationship is with Hamas, and I don't know if negotiating directly with the Gazan leadership would be any more effective.
Oh yeah, I also haven't checked it. Literally, I woke up and saw the Kirk shooting, and that's been my whole brain since I woke up. So is there any new info I need to know about this Qatar bombing? Did anything else come out?
The ones in Qatar.
That's also the idea that
I need those two satisfied to be more in favor
even
of
if it was the case that if it was that the Gazan leadership are way more easy or negotiable, would that justify just like blowing up the people who are, I guess, acting as like, you know, they're pretending they want to negotiate, but they're just like wasting time? Would that justify blowing them up? Even putting aside the question of like sovereignty, because obviously, I mean, you agree that like blowing up Qatar is like, you know, there's no real good justification for that, at least that you were aware of. If they are just like, if the people that are the Qatar Gaza negotiators are just like fucking churning the wheels and only pretending to negotiate, does that...
No, I did hear about Parry's Plastic Beach segment before I went to bed. It was like next level retarded. It's like actually brain dead. Like actually brain dead. It was so bad. I didn't watch it, but I saw his list and I heard that he had to be debated into not calling intros filler, because he said that intros are definitionally filler. So it's kind of like retarded to call an intro filler if all intros are filler. Intros are definitionally filler. It's kind of retarded to just call it filler when like almost every album has an intro. Just like so brain dead. Like actual brain dead music analysis, brain dead album analysis. The idea this guy was talking shit on Loam. Like the Parry should just stick to Bob in his head, frankly.
Could that even justify like blowing them up, even if you think that like the people afterwards would be better to negotiate?
No. So that's like a political outcome rather than like a legal or moral justification. Like the leaders are targetable. I think just like in a vacuum, they're completely targetable because they use their space.
No, I don't agree. It's filler. It's a skip, but it's a different thing to filler. You know, filler has a specific definition. Filler is like it's a song that isn't remotely like inventive or unique, or it doesn't seem there's a lot of effort put into it, that feels like it's just there to put a spot on an album. There's nothing interesting about it. It just fills a spot. It does runtime. an intro is there to set the tone. You would usually skip it if you were just like listening to the music casually. That has a function in the album.
And their freedoms in Qatar to incite violations of the Geneva Convention all the time. They play a role in incitement, which makes you targetable. It's just whether or not it's worth it politically to do it on Qatari soil, and that's where
the intro. It's the orchestral intro track. Sorry, 1 minute. We're gonna move on from Plastic Beach stuff. We'll just do this one bit. To be honest, my point's proven here. Okay, my point is proven. Let's watch. So let's get back to Parry versus Lonerbox. Now we've seen that the first however many hours of Parry's stream, well, the earliest stream he did in the day is totally fucking worthless. All that time he spent coping about his desperate attention-seeking take that he was spamming in chat going, oh, Grill's 90% for fucking idiot. Now we know that Parry is totally raped on that point. Let's watch Lonerbox mollywhopping on Israel. Let's watch Lonerbox just totally fucking wipe the floor with this guy on Israel.
In a vacuum, they're completely targetable because they use their space and their freedoms in Qatar to incite violations of the Geneva Convention all the time. They play a role in incitement, which makes you targetable. It's just whether or not it's worth it politically to do it on Qatari soil, and that's the bit that I'm missing. I don't really see it being that.
Well,
gap
I think.
filled.
I mean, if we're talking about like attacking Qatari soil, there's also a question of like you're just going to violate Qatar's space, which is like an escalatory action and whatever. So it's not even just about the political ramifications. I feel like it is in its own way a negative thing, right? For like Israel to just like fuck over Qatar like that, or is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to make sure that.
Well, not entirely, because again, and again, I don't think there is any consensus on this internationally, but when you're in a position where you have a country that is harboring people who are engaged in hostilities against you, which I think these leaders were, but they won't cooperate in terms of being able to either extradite them or to expel them or to arrest them or anything like that, right? They just let them kind of live freely. So that question would have the answers as well. I don't know how much Israel was actually trying to get any kind of cooperation from Qatar before they went to this resolution.
It's so if they're harboring these people and they're like terrible people, and we don't know obviously what Israel Qatar are doing behind the scenes, but it seems to me like I don't know, man. I mean, if the purpose of like blowing them up is, I feel like that's only going to worsen the likelihood of peace negotiations. Maybe I'm just being naive there, but I feel like that.
Well, Lonerbox says that if you think this, then you can be immediately written off, even if your name is Alistair Campbell or Rory Stewart. Okay.
Doesn't seem like a good start to a peace negotiation. Is to just blow up the last guys. I feel like if that's the justification for doing so, feels very weak to me. I mean, maybe there's just.
So has Parry just moved into a uni dorm or something? He just started uni again.
Blowing them up outside of them being bad peace negotiators. I'm sure that's, both sides have good reason to blow each other up, but just the fact that the further people could be better at it, that the Gazan peace negotiators from wherever the fuck could be better. I don't see how that's a.
Yeah, that's not, so that's, to be clear, that's not a reason to make them legally targetable. Like, just being a bad negotiator isn't a reason to target someone. For me, they're already targetable. It's just whether or not you're going to make that jump and break the precedent by actually hitting them on Qatari soil. If you're going to do that targeting, it needs to have some kind of like political justification as well. That's kind of where I stand. And that's why the idea of them, like, if you have someone who's targetable in Qatar, but killing them is not really going to change anything, then why would you break that precedent? Like, why would you entrench on that sovereignty and everything else? But if it turns out that the negotiators in the Strip are actually more...
Oh, yeah, I don't feel like it shouldn't just be, is it going to, do anything? Is it going to be an effective attack? It should be a bit more than that. Like, I feel like it was, Lonerbox was sort of winning me over with the way he was talking about it a moment ago when he's saying that there would have to be like a significant effort exerted by Israel with Qatar to get these people by legit means. But yeah, this is the sort of thing where if you're going to strike on like a third party, like US ally, I feel like this is the sort of thing that needs to go through like the UN or NATO or some shit. Like there needs to be some other body involved that is deciding whether it's allowed for you to just strike on their soil. You shouldn't just be able to fucking violate their national sovereignty because, oh, we think this is going to be a really good strike.
Reasonable in negotiations, then that would like push it over the line to me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it would have to be like through the UN or something. Either with Qatar or through the UN.
If it turns out that the people who would come forward would end up being more negotiable, that's like an added bonus which further justifies to you the ability to blow these people up who are already valid targets, because...
The same thing he was saying was used to justify used to invade Afghanistan. What, you mean the US resolution, UN resolution or whatever, going through the UN? I mean, you can say that, but obviously there is a certain point where you're going to have to encroach on national sovereignty, right, to achieve some military objective. There is going to be some point where you're going to want to be able to do that, but that needs to be, approved through like the UN. You can't just go and do that because you feel like it's going to be a really good idea. You think it's going to be really epic to hit this Qatari hotel, so you just go do it.
Of the hateful rhetoric that they're spreading or whatever, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like, aren't there ramifications from just the inaction of deciding to blow up a negotiating situation, right? Like, if obviously there's an understanding that if some
they're
people
harboring terrorists and they must work with the US. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that more.
Like Hamas or whatever, whoever these negotiators are for, are coming to the table to have a negotiation. There might be the added benefits of the future people to end up being more conciliatory, but there's also the negative action of itself that we've said that even if we're going to negotiate with you, that negotiation status isn't sacred, and we're willing to use the fact that we're going to negotiate with you as functionally as a trap to blow you up or whatever.
Maybe.
Translated X's, thank you for the absolutely worthless comment in chat. If you continue making worthless comments, I'll just time you out.
But with these leaders, I think it's been made clear for quite a while, no? That
we just stop talking about this.
Have an interest in negotiating in good faith, because it's been 2 years now, right?
2 years for a negotiate. I mean, maybe, but even then, 2 years, really, I don't think that's enough to say that there's nothing that they. I mean, I don't know exactly every single thing that's come out of these Qatari negotiators, but I mean, it takes a while. I feel like to negotiate for an entire country, but even still, even if they are acting in bad faith, there's still the function that there's still the action that Israel is saying, hey, if you're negotiating with us, we might decide that it's not good enough, and we're gonna blow you up, basically. So it's you assume that there's some grace that a country would get if you're negotiating with them in order to encourage negotiations just in general, and it's Israel by
well, especially some grace for the active negotiators, right? If they're actively there to negotiate and there's been a recent proposal, you'd probably allow some grace there. You'd probably not target them.
Other benefits is getting rid of that encouragement to negotiate, right?
Okay, so just to make sure we agree on a few facts, is there any, or if you just don't know, is there any disagreement on the idea that these leaders?
Okay, we like to see that from Lonerbox. Parry obviously probably doesn't have the full facts. Loner probably does have far more knowledge than Parry, but he says, "Oh, just in case you don't know, he's not immediately condescending him for not knowing." We love to see that. We love Lonerbox. We love Zyobot. We love Zogbox.
As long as they've been public in politics for decades, as far as Khalil Al-Haya and Michelle,
I saw your quotes. They seemed very mean. They seemed very mean, yeah.
Yeah, but when you say mean, I don't know that.
They seem bloodthirsty. I feel like
not about,
I love
bloodthirsty as I've seen Israeli people.
So you guys love them,
yeah, but it's not about. It's not about bloodthirsty. It's about the fact that they will never accept an end to the war that means they give up arms or power. That's what I'm getting at.
Right, yeah, surely it could be the case, yeah, that it's really a fucked negotiation situation, but I feel like if you were agreeing to negotiate there, if there was a different way in which these people could be blown up, and the fact that it's happening...
Yeah, thank you for the even further worthless commentary in chat. We'll be timing out for 24 hours, because I just don't want to see anything you have to say about this topic. I will read out loud. I am from a micronation. I know it sucks, but it's the way the world works, and always worked. UN is a joke when no superpower enforces it. Oh, wow, thank you for saying something that everyone else has already said in every piece of analysis about this ever. Yes, the US has abdicated its role in the world. After drawing up the rules, they've decided they don't want any part in it anymore. Yes, everyone said this. Everyone said we're still going to have the discussion about what should be right and how it should be enforced. Because that's what people want to happen and are pushing for. Retard. It's just worthless commentary. Just stop talking about this because the world sucks, so just don't talk about anything ever. You're a fucking worthless retard. Just never talk about this again.
Negotiation place, I feel like it was in itself a bad thing. Putting aside the question of Qatari sovereignty, putting aside the question of, if these people are being
nothing of interest to say whatsoever.
Enough, which I would agree with you that they are. I feel like the fact that it's happening in a negotiation, in something that's ostensibly meant to be a negotiation between Israel and these people, is the issue.
Even though their comments, I believe their comments on this particular negotiation were already, oh yeah, we're up for it, but also we're going to accept that Israel leaves all of Gaza and we're left in charge so that we can rebuild the Strip.
Well, if Israel thinks that that's ridiculous, then they shouldn't decide to engage in negotiations with them. They can like cancel negotiations, and then if at some other time they want to do a blow up thing, it just seems like they're using the fact that there's a negotiation as an opportunity to know where these people are, and using that fact that they know where they are to obviously like bomb them. And that's the issue I have, is that Israel is using the premise of a negotiation, something that is generally understood to be a move towards less aggression and more peace, as an opportunity to bomb these people. If it was like a different thing, if they were like, hey, do you want to have a jamboree, or if they like hunt these people down, like you mentioned, the guy that gets killed, the guy, Osama bin Laden, right? If this is like a case where they found these leaders hanging out at fucking Starbucks or whatever, and they blew them up, that'd be one thing. But I feel like my issue is with the fact they're doing it at a peace negotiation, which kind of undermines the whole premise of.
Yeah, the thing is, like, your entire argument makes sense, and unless you just seem to believe that these guys have no intention of ever changing their tune when it comes to any good faith negotiation, and that's kind of where I am. Like,
no, but even if they are negotiating in bad faith, that does not justify you negotiating in bad faith to lure them into a strike. Because that should not be a precedent that is set with negotiations. There should not be a precedent around negotiations where you can be struck while engaging with them. Where your enemy is allowed to pretend to negotiate with you and then kill you. Because that disincentivizes other people, other onlooking nations from going to... Like, why would anyone negotiate with Israel when this shit's going to happen?
The meeting means nothing to me. Like,
well, then why did Israel agree to the meetings with them? That's what I don't understand. It's like, if you know that these people are in bad faith, I mean, either try and either not engage with them, find different negotiators. But it feels like fucked up to me that you would use that as an opportunity to do, you know, all this, just
the second Destiny falls off, Kuihman becomes a full-time political streamer. Okay, what you are?
Dude, that is not what has happened at all. Okay, thank you for the $5 euro.
Questionable bombing. Sorry,
well, because as soon as one side opts out of negotiations, then you understand what that looks like politically. So, like, these guys in Hamas might have no interest in ending the war in a way that would be realistic, but they're still going to turn up to meetings even if they go nowhere, right? Like, that's and that's the same with Israel as well.
If Israel can't leave the meeting because it looks bad, but they can blow them up, but that also looks bad. So I don't think Israel is too concerned about the optics in that case, right?
From their perspective, at least if they blow them up, then they believe that there's a better negotiating partner in Gaza, and they do have a valid target in these people anyway. Then
I don't feel like you could justify the idea that things will be better if they blow them up, right? Because I feel like it's very. I mean, but this might not end up being the case. It might end up that the new negotiators are epic. But I feel like if you're saying, hey, we're going to blow up these people that are peace negotiations, then it's kind of like saying, hey, peace negotiations. That's like, oh, we don't really care. You know, we live or die. So I feel like that is going to worsen the ability to do stuff. Obviously, ideally, it wouldn't, but I feel like that is a signal you were giving there as well. So I don't think that Israel can like sit here and be like, well, we're just trying to move for peace. That's why we're blowing them up. I feel like that's, I mean, maybe that's what they're saying, but I feel like that's not really very justifiable thing.
I don't know. It's really. I feel like we agree on them not giving the best reason or not having a sufficient reason to do this particular strike. It's maybe just for different reasons. I don't see why. Like, for example, you're talking about the message it might send to negotiators in Gaza. It's like, well, even negotiating is not safe. Again, it seems like negotiating isn't safe if you're going to constantly fuck around with negotiations, give contradictory statements, and also in the process.
Dude, okay, but you have to have like, even if like let's say grant the justification, say the idea that you can justify it if the other party is negotiating in bad faith. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen that shown. I haven't seen that. You know, I've read a few articles about it. You know, I'm not like the most crazy well read in any of this shit. I've read a couple of articles. I've not seen like people say like, oh yeah, you know, they're just totally lying about all the negotiation. I've not seen that commentary really, other than from Lonerbox. I've read a few articles about it. I've watched like podcasts about it. You know, I try not to just watch it. You know, I don't rewatch any, in fact, like crazy lefty content about it. I watch like fucking lib shit about it. I've not heard that it's like totally fake negotiations. I've not heard that. They've had ceasefires, is my understanding. They had a ceasefire that Israel broke. So it just seems, I don't know. But then I don't even grant the that's assuming you grant the justification. Even then, I don't know that. I just don't think you should strike negotiations ever, because yeah, you can say that you think they're negotiating in bad faith, but I still think that message is sent. I still think that message is sent. It sets a bad precedent.
of negotiating throughout the 2 years, inciting like other countries and other
like
people from other countries to go into Israel and kill people. Right.
I think there's a difference between the negotiating going poorly and you doing a shitty job negotiating maybe intentionally versus this is the equivalent of like flipping the table, right? This is like you're saying negotiation. In the other case, it's like they're playing the game, but they're just like they're not very good at it. It's not accidentally. It's just intentionally like they're like playing the game in order to waste your time, which is shitty. But that's not about safety, is it? This is a situation where you're saying not only it's like one thing to like do a negotiation and like basically like stall for time. It's another thing to say, oh, even if we're doing a negotiation, it's at any moment that we can decide actually we don't like you, it's over. I feel like there is a difference between those two things.
So by your worldview, so anyone who's engaged, first of all, do you agree that these guys could count as being engaged in hostilities against Israel?
Like these leaders with the language that they're using, yeah, probably in the same way any general or whatever would be. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. So, and do we also think that so long as someone who's engaged in hostilities attends negotiation meetings every now and then, they can be targeted?
Well, not as a function of those negotiation meetings, which I believe is what was occurring, right? It's like if these people are engaging in the function which is meant to, obviously
it's not if they, show up sometimes or whatever. There is an active negotiation process. As far as things concerned, negotiations are still happening. Israel hasn't left the table. Israel hasn't said we're not negotiating anymore. They're still there saying they're negotiating. There was a recent proposal. It's like active. If it was the case that Israel had said, we're not negotiating anymore. Fuck negotiating with these people. We're not negotiating anymore. And they left. They were never going to Qatar. They've been to Qatar in ages, whatever. Later on, let's say they come up with a good justification to encroach on Qatari sovereignty, or they agree with Qatar to do this strike. Yeah, then sure, you might be able to strike them in Qatar, because there's not a premise of negotiation there. They're still just in Qatar being harbored. They're in a different country, and they might be willing to negotiate. They might still claim to be willing to negotiate, but there's not an active negotiation. You're not on that same page. You're not claiming to be on that page. It's a problem when you claim to be willing to negotiate, but that's in bad faith and you're actually ready to kill them.
Like stonewalling or whatever, but it's meant to lead to negotiations and ideally agreements being made from there. And if you decide, because I feel like it would be ridiculous on the other side as well, right? Like if Israelis, they were like kind of like fucking around or whatever. I'm not saying they are, but if they were like fucking around, and then like so the Hamas people decided, oh well, you guys, we're already getting error with this, which they might genuinely believe, and they said, oh, so let's just like bomb the place while we're there. That would be like fucked up, right? It just shows that they don't want to engage with this process in a proper way. So yes, I do agree. Yes, when they're in the process of engaging these negotiations, I feel like you should give some credence to them and not blow them up.
I don't know. I mean, if Smotrich and Ben-Gvir got assassinated, even in a different country, and they were there was all the tests taken to make sure that they wouldn't hit civilians or nationals of whatever country they were in, I don't know if I would lose that much sleep over that. Because those guys as well are using...
Sure, but the other people, the people who did blow them up, you would think, well, these people clearly aren't that interested in getting anywhere. I feel like would you not think that that's like a signal you get from that?
No, because Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, the reason I would have be perfectly fine with someone targeting them, maybe even if it's in a third country that's harboring them, right? I just don't even agree with Lonerbox on this. I don't think you can just go around fucking killing in third-party countries, especially not when it's like there's an extra dynamic happening here where it's like a US ally, right? Qatar has started playing ball with Western countries. It's like just totally fucking obscene. Giving them cover to do what they're doing and say what they're saying. Because it's not just like any country, right? It's one that's actually like abetting their like disgusting behavior. If they were doing that, then that it would have the same argument as these guys, right? Because like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich are roadblocks in negotiations. Like there have been several deals, not just with ceasefire, but also with aid that have been blocked by Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. Like they are... Yeah, exactly. It's like there are two things. You've got to control for both these things, right? The Qatari sovereignty and the norms regarding peace negotiations. If, you come up with a hypothetical, say like, in fact, just, switch it over, just be like, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich are in Qatar to negotiate and Hamas strike them. Or would that quite work?
Yeah, I think that probably works. I think the dynamics are pretty much the same if you just do it in that country. I think the dynamics are the same if you keep it in the same country. Yeah, it'd be fucked, obviously. You know? People might, you know, people are obviously going to be, the super pro-party people or whatever, obviously going to celebrate it and they're not going to hold the same standard, a lot of them. But you should still, you know? You should. As a enlightened, rational person analyzing it.
Two of the reasons that potentially even this Trump deal might not have gone through, because we know that Ben-Gvir and Smotrich would stand in the way of it on grounds that they want to resettle Gaza, and the Trump proposal negates that. So that's one reason, not to mention the amount of times that they have frustrated attempts to get aid into Gaza through the chief of staff or anyone else. So yeah, I think it would apply to them quite easily. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, that yeah, probably these people, there's like a good justification to like blow them up, but I feel like if you did so under the premise, it's like you're inviting them functionally, like that's the idea behind it, you're inviting them into, not your house, but like into a place where you're going to hash things out, and then under that premise, you decided to take that opportunity specifically to assassinate those people. I feel like whoever did such a thing would be rightfully criticized for trying to push things in the worst direction. Now, again, maybe the outcome is that Ben-Gvir and whoever are such like assholes, from what I'm remembering, yes, that is the case, that the next people would be better. But just as easily, you could imagine that the next people that come after them are going to think, well, if you're just going to like blow us up during negotiations, why would we ever work with you? I feel like, you know, the...
Well, it's also, if they specifically targeted Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, it's like, okay, well, now that the deeply unserious negotiators are gone, can the serious ones just like, you know, have a bit of freedom to...
Right, but that's obviously not how it would be perceived. Obviously, people aren't going to think, yeah, those guys, they were just like messing around or whatever. That's not how Israel feels about. I mean, some people, I'm sure a portion of people in Israel too, but at the same time, they think that these people are like, you know, important leaders. And so if you just blow them up, I feel like Israel would be upset about that. I feel like Israel gets upset when leaders are killed, generally speaking. And so they would not be in a better mood in order to function some ways. Now, obviously, Hamas or whatever, there's more of an authoritarian bend there, so it's not exactly one-to-one, but I still feel like the consensus would be pushed in a negative direction by blowing them up during something that's meant to be for negotiation.
So is your hypothesis then that even if this guy in Gaza, al-Haddad, is more conciliatory, he might have seen what's happened in Qatar and just think, well, fuck, I'm not negotiating if they're just going to blow me up? Like, do you think that's what's going to happen?
I'm not saying go negotiate, but it's probably like, it's like putting him in a fucked position, right? It's putting him in a fucked position.
Yeah, I think there is a good chance of that, yeah.
Where, one, he might not want to negotiate because he thinks, oh, well, if I don't do the right thing, they're just going to fuck me over.
I think that's like a totally real possibility. I wouldn't say that's 100% going to happen, like he's 100% going to feel that way. But I imagine he's probably thinking that a little bit, right? If you had the opportunity to go and negotiate with Israel after this happened, you'd be like, fuck, man. You'd be like, fuck, like a little bit, right?
He might be in a position where, oh, well, I want to negotiate, but they just like they just killed these people, which obviously didn't work, but like, they just killed these people. Oh, so, well, I mean, fuck, I mean, I'm going to have to like push harder on that. It might be in a position where...
Like, is Lonerbox feeling confident to do debates at American universities right now? This is a good maybe comparison. Would you feel confident doing debate events at American universities right now?
Negotiate... But, you know, yeah, I feel like it is going to make things more difficult regarding negotiations if you fuck around and, like, kill people during negotiations, yes.
Okay. If these leaders had... So, well, if... I'm just going to get where you are. If Israel had waited till these guys were just at an unrelated event in Iran and hit them there, like, would that be okay?
Yeah, if they weren't in the processes of negotiation, then probably, yeah.
Okay. Even though they are still the head negotiators, like they're expected to be the ones to come to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Just limiting it to Hamas is stupid as well. Obviously, like other countries have relations with Israel, are going to have to, and it looks bad to them as well. They're going to be worried about it too.
When a deal is there.
Well, then probably not. Then probably like Israel should like try and get new negotiators, do something like that. I don't know if there's like a meta negotiation thing where they can negotiate for who the negotiators are. But no, if you're yeah, it's obviously like not ideal. I agree that like whoever these people are, they're like shitty or whatever. But and they are actively. But I mean, again, I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think that like sorry, what was the question I asked you? And then you said you were going to answer it. Hold on.
The question was about whether or not them being negotiating partners, like you shouldn't... It sounds like you're saying that as long as someone has even the capacity or like is about to become a negotiating partner or is expected to be the negotiating partner when a deal is offered, then they just get like immunity. That's the thing I'm not sure about.
Well, it's not immunity per se, but it's obvious if you are in the processes of negotiating, and then you are blown up, then I feel like that is going to act as a sign to whoever the next negotiator is. It's like these negotiators are like fucked. It's like you're not engaging with these things seriously. You're saying, oh well, now the serious people can come forward, but I don't think that's how it's going to be perceived. It's you've just blown up people that we sent to negotiate. And
but it sounded like you were saying that even if they just had the general role of negotiator, like there's nothing going on right now. But if a deal does come forward, they would be expected to be the ones who turn up to the meetings. You're saying you shouldn't target those people either, right?
It's not. Listen, I will say I'm not entirely sure where to draw the line here between people who have negotiated in the past, people who are good contenders for negotiator. So it's fair enough. Maybe it's like the fact that these people, maybe if it's like been a year and maybe in another year they're going to be a negotiator or not. Maybe in that case, yes, you can't blow them up. Sure, but I feel like we know this was happening during negotiations. I feel like in this case it's very cut and dry that Israel is saying that they're like using this negotiation status and they're not really respecting that. And then they're using it as an opportunity to blow them up, and I feel like that is an issue. So maybe there is a point where somebody could be understood as a negotiator, and it would be fine to blow them up because it's like, they're not currently in the situation and they're engaging in a military way or in an aggressive way that's like going to lead to danger. But in this case, I don't think that would qualify for these people because they were like directly in the process, and Israel either shouldn't have agreed to engage with it or something like or something else.
Okay. And in your eyes, is there any level of bad faith negotiating that this would change for you?
Bad faith level of negotiating? Well, probably.
I don't think so, right? No matter how much they were stalling or whatever, you just don't strike them in that context. You end negotiations. I think, yeah, that's like I think that is just, you just own that position, right? You just don't do it where you're saying you're willing to negotiate, you're there, or whatever. I think as a rule, you just don't. While you're both still at the table, you don't do it.
Probably, yes. Probably, like, if it's like, it's the US, we're gonna blow you up with 9/11 unless you bring 10 virgins for us to rape, and that's the only way we're good fit. I'm sure there's some ridiculous standard that, like, some party can, like, put forward, and it's like, well, but they're negotiating, so you have to respect them. No, yeah, obviously, I'm sure there's a level to that, but it's, I feel like, that should be, like, called out and dealt with, and that you shouldn't use.
I don't know if Lonerbox is even engaging in like that level of direct perpetry there. I think Parry should just own that position. I think Parry should just say, yeah. So what? Assuming Lonerbox is talking about like stalling and shit, even if they're doing like crazy shit on the side, like he's not saying that. I don't know. It's not like it's a self-defense thing. Like these negotiators are getting ready to kill your negotiators. Like maybe like you could come up with that. Like there's some crazy imminent threat where their negotiators are about to kill your negotiators. You strike them with a fucking drone or something. Maybe, but I don't think that's. I don't think that's really what we're talking about. When you talk about bad faith negotiations, we're talking about like stall tactics. We're talking about like they're saying they're there to negotiate, but they're not.
Negotiation itself as a trap, which it seems to me is like what's occurring in this case.
Okay.
Do you agree? Do you think you should be able to use negotiations as a trap, or?
Well, the difference is that I do believe that they had crossed a level of unreasonable negotiations. I just don't know if it's going to help. That's why. And also breaking the precedent of hitting Qatar is probably something that you shouldn't do.
What does it mean? They've. What does that mean?
I do believe that they had crossed a level of unreasonable negotiations. I just don't know if it's going to help.
Okay, well, what is the level? At what point do you decide, oh, your negotiations too unreasonable, so I can kill you? What is the line there?
That's why. And also breaking the precedent of hitting Qatar is probably something that you shouldn't do unless you have a very, very clear indication that it's going to lead up with something good. And I don't know if there's any guarantee this will. But I just don't think the reason you're giving is like the right one. I think they have easily crossed like a threshold of showing that they're not serious. But like if they've done this,
I don't think that's
I wouldn't care.
okay. But if they're not serious, then you stop negotiating, and then you can kill them. You don't do it while you're still ostensibly in negotiations, right?
I wouldn't care at all.
Is there any situation where like there's like some understanding that like acts of war, like attacks in this area, shouldn't be acceptable? Do you think, like, for example, I mean, I don't know the exact details with the recent like attacks on like food trucks or whatever, but like obviously, let's say that you have a military leader and they're going to like some sort of like food truck or whatnot. And it's like, generally speaking, you don't want to attack those because you want the civilians of a location to feel safe in those areas. And you think, well, yeah, but this guy's like a real asshole, so let's blow it up. Do you think, is there any kind of function with which somebody could be engaging that you think would give them some understanding of immunity because you don't want to like make it so that thing seems unsafe.
Yeah, well, obviously, but that's the question, right? Because like you just said, food trucks, hospitals, and schools, anything else, all of these things lose protection when they are used in a hostile way. And I think Hamas just used negotiations to kick the can down the road so that they can continue dragging out the war and inciting attacks on Israel, like through their media. So, yeah.
I think that there should be like some level of, some things should be protected, even if they are using it in bad faith way, as long as they are actually serving the thing that's they're meant to serve. But sure, I guess you want to talk about the famine stuff because I mentioned food trucks.
Sure.
Yeah, you said that your issue with the famine was that even though there is a famine now in Gaza, I believe that's what you said.
Yeah, I don't think Parry did a great job of arguing that, but Lonerbox has left me completely unconvinced by saying that I really don't understand what his standard is. At what point, how bad faith can negotiations be before you're allowed to strike them? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, yeah, they could be there to stall. Okay, you still can't kill them for that. If it's like some crazy self-defense situation, I can understand killing them there. But as long as you are both ostensibly there to negotiate, or even if you're not actively there, but you're under the pretense of there is active negotiations, there's still proposals happening. You're saying you're still willing. You still want to ceasefire all this shit. Yeah, you need to change your tact before you change your participation in negotiations before you strike. 100%. Yeah, specifically imminent threat. Exactly. Yeah.
Thomas, that because of all the lefties on the internet screaming famine, that's actually an issue. That actually meant that people it's like the boy who cried wolf. You think the lefties on the internet were like doing a boy who cried wolf, and they were actually acting in opposition to how you would want to actually deal with a famine.
Hey,
is that more or less what you think, just to be clear?
Also, guys, now is a great time to remind you, okay? 329 people, 140 likes on stream, some of 200 or so people, and please move the cursor to the thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing a thumbs up on the mobile device. That'd be hugely appreciated. If you want to take your support one step further, you can do it directly through the stream elements link in the pin chat message. You guys buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat, buy a super chat which will highlight a message of TTS, or buy a super sticker, which YouTube image or gift that we highlight in chat and I'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you.
Given that the first
actually acting in opposition to how you would want to actually deal with a famine. Is that more or less what you think, just to be clear?
Given that the first warning of impending famine that I saw came in like October 17th, yeah, I don't think it's good to use maximum vocabulary for every issue, because once something actually does cross that threshold, then the sense of urgency from the terminology is missing. It's not just that, though. The other issue was that they kept on trying to simplify the issue, or to a point where they were trying to exaggerate it in a way that they would use numbers, say like 500 trucks, which just resulted in people calling for like policies that didn't actually work. So like, say, flooding the strip with aid was the big Biden thing, even though it seems quite clear that throughout the entire conflict, the issue has been with internal distribution, not with aid crossing the border.
Would take the food. Yeah, and I understand that.
No, it's not just about Hamas taking the food. It's if you want to attack Israel, you can do that as well, because it's not just about Hamas taking the food is kind of like a bit of a incorrect way to put it. But because the other issue as well was that there were plenty of opportunities to criticize the IDF for their lack of ability to facilitate distribution.
You got a little bit. It feels like you got a little bit like on edge there when Parry said that. Parry goes, "Yeah, Hamas taking the food." He's like, "No, just."
It seems quite clear that throughout the entire conflict, the issue has been with internal distribution, not with aid crossing the border.
Would take the food. Yeah, and I understand that.
No, it's not just about Hamas taking the food. It's if you want to attack Israel, you can do that as well, because it's not just about Hamas taking the food is kind of like a bit of a incorrect way to put it. But because the other issue as well was that there were plenty of opportunities to criticize the IDF for their lack of ability to facilitate aid distribution, because again, in areas that they are operating in, that is their role. They're the occupier, even if it's not the entire strip at one particular time, it was areas, and you can easily call for situations where they were not doing that appropriately. Or it's a massive slam on the GHF, because right now what they're doing is they have the GHF that's basically open for a few hours a
Lonerbox
day,
versus
giving
Lonerbox.
people like drip feeds of food. But then at the same time, you've got these COGAT people and the like propagandists getting invited to the Gazan side of the border, where there are mountains of aid just sitting there, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're letting all these trucks in. We've let loads of aid in. Look, all this aid, it's everywhere." But then obviously the distribution issue is where it's happening. So, but the problem is that people aren't really focusing on one or the other, and then it makes its way all the way up the ladder to the point that the political demands are fucked as well.
Right. So I just feel okay, but it just seemed to me like when I heard you speak about this that you're saying because we were calling it a famine. Who was calling it? Is it just people on the lefties on the internet who were saying this? Because I feel like I understand who was saying this. I just because that seemed like what you were getting upset at is that people on the internet were like doomsaying about it, which is a common thing. So yeah, people are going to be hyperbolic in their language.
No, it's not just a lefty thing. It was like people like UNRWA were saying this, or for Jessica Albanese was, I think, the special rapporteurs for the territories and for human rights. Those guys were declaring famine even after the IPC said there wasn't one in 2024. So yeah, it's I think that is kind of.
And you're just going to take the IPCC and UN's, who I believe, because I looked at the UN report at the very least, and it seems like they were saying we wouldn't have it cross our criteria of famine, but it is a very dire situation which seems on its way to get worse. But you're saying just because the UN report, the IPCC report didn't say it's famine, and that when UNRA or other people are saying it is, that is because they're being like too preemptive. I feel it could just be that like they have like different criteria for these things, or they want to like intervene early, which seems like, you know, saying that is generally what you want to do with a famine, right? It's like you want to intervene early, so it makes sense that people are going to be ringing the bell here early. But it seems like you're criticizing.
Well, no, you can because again, you don't need a famine to intervene. Like the intervention happened when people were calling it a hunger crisis or even just an aid issue. Aid issue is like a pretty nasty thing to happen. But yeah, it's not that they have different criteria. It's that Albanese and her and a group of other people there used their positions at the UN to put out a press release that wasn't based on any definition at all. They just said it. They just made a press release saying there's a famine, even after the IPC said in 2024, June, July, that there wasn't one. So yeah, it's not just that they're going by different criteria or a sense of urgency or whatever. It's just that they're hyperbolizing. They're not even doing what the trusted source of the UN is supposed to do.
So it's particularly with Albanese, and then UNRA probably has a different standard. All right, but you're saying that there were some people who were like in bad faith, like ring the bell too early, I guess for the sake of sensationalism, or do you think they maybe believed it because I don't know, they're like deluded?
I don't know why they do it. I think it's probably because they have this belief that maximum vocabulary yields maximum results. Maybe it's not that she has a different definition though. She just didn't offer a definition.
I'm not familiar with the Albanese case, so that's fair enough there. All right, but you think that now there is a famine, I guess, because of the UN and whatever are saying it. It's just, it seems, because my understanding is obviously you have to like intervene early in famines, because when the famine actually starts, it's a bit too late. There's already like long-term damage being done. It's a lot easier to prevent and cure. But I guess you would say that would be again the issue with the way the IDF and the internal distribution would be. All right, is that about right? Is that about how you feel about it?
Yeah, I know that there have been some. I don't know what the complete, because I think after the IPC, then you go through the famine review committee, and there has been a couple of question marks raised about their recent analysis, particularly to do with the raw deaths, and that criteria not necessarily being met. Well, we can go into that if you want, but whatever it is, like obviously it's closer to famine now, or if not already there, than it ever was in the last 2 years. It's just that politically, like the vocabulary and the urgency just doesn't seem to be any different, because it seems to be like people just saying what they've always been saying.
I don't agree with that at all. Yes, there were people saying it was a famine very early. Sure. I don't agree that it's the same now that it's always been. I feel like people have a perception of how many people are saying something and which people are saying something. And for most people, broadly, most people weren't constantly hearing talk of famine. You know, your average person who hears about Israel Palestine wasn't constantly hearing that there's a famine there, like in October of 2023. No, that wasn't the case. But recently, in the last couple months, there's been huge talk of famine. There's been huge talk about the situation with aid there. Obviously, the blockade was spoken about a lot in the start of the year. As we've moved through the year, the talk of famine has become far more prominent. You know, politicians start talking about it. Obviously, Keir Starmer's talking about it. Donald Trump's talking about it. Yeah, there is a difference there. People have a perception of a difference there. I totally disagree with Lonerbox that, like, maybe it feels that way if you're like super immersed. If you're like super immersed, it just feels like the lefties have been saying it the whole time. And some of them have. But I don't believe that's the public perception. I don't think that. I feel like what Lonerbox does. This is saying Lonerbox. He identifies something that does happen, something that's kind of true. But then he's loading like way more importance onto it than there actually is. So like he's saying like these lefties saying famine have like undercut the severity of the word famine or how famine is perceived to the broad general public. And like to a tiny extent that's kind of probably true. Like some people that's true. But it doesn't actually have that effect on the general perception, if you know what I mean. Broadly, it doesn't play out. It's like it's the genocide argument. It's the same argument people make with the word Nazi and fascist and all this stuff. It's like that same thing, and like this is true about like every word. Like every word gets overused by some people. You know, every emotive word, some people use a bit too much. You know, and saying that the word is destroyed. Or like rape, you know. People say that with like rape reviews and stuff. People have destroyed the word rape. These women have destroyed the word rape. It's just like not true. Some people use it too much. The idea that some people using a word too much makes it so no one else can use it, or no one else can perceive the severity of it, or no one else can perceive like different meanings, different context. Like everyone perceives different meanings in different contexts, even if they say otherwise sometimes. Everyone knows it's different when Donald Trump and Keir Starmer are talking about famine, or when Owen Jones is talking about famine. Everyone understands there to be a difference there.
Sure. I mean, when you say people, I guess you're referring specifically to Albanese. I think that's like getting upset at people on the internet for, excuse me 1 second. On the internet for saying it is, I think, a bit gay. And speaking of people on the internet, do you think that, I think Anthony Fantano like raped you, and you're coping about that?
Wait, say that again?
I think Anthony Fantano like raped you, and you're coping about that.
Oh, okay, that's just your opinion, dude. But
no, it's based
as
on
far
you
as
being
it's not having a go at
seeded about it.
Okay,
now
really why is Barry just suddenly getting aggro? Why is he just suddenly getting aggro? Why did he just start getting aggro?
lefties, though. This is from the international community, and even if you look at old IPC reports, I mean, even they would publish when it came to Gaza, they would say that they would parrot the 300 or
Harry's
400 trucks a day thing as well. So it's not just a lefty thing; it's like an international community.
I understand what you're saying, but literally all Anthony did was post the definition of genocide from his phone, and then you spurred out and wrote like a 4-paragraph post, and then you were sitting there like pretending that you were like the calm, chillaxed one who didn't care, and that he was like the crazy, insane one that's like seething. Like, how do you justify that?
I don't really base my positions on who's the more mad or I was frustrated.
You do. In your fucking segment on it, you were like, yeah, this guy's seething, and you were doing like a funny voice. You were doing like a funny voice to be like, oh, you're that you were doing a voice for him, but when you were reading your own thing, you were like, yeah, I don't even care about this. So you do actually base your like positions on who's angry.
Or at least he presents it that way.
I mean, it's a pretty retarded thing to do for someone.
Well, then why'd you do it?
Making a determination about what he was doing.
Right, well,
I just think it's a bit weird to like first of all just drop in like a snarky comment, and then he's people challenge him on it, and he says, what are his positions? And I'm sitting there like, I know that he does not care what my positions are. This guy's already made up his mind. So I do a little semi-serious, half-joking one, and then he says he's not even, and all he wants to talk about is genocide. So it's like
you're saying
I give my positions, and there's no curiosity. He just goes into genocide, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen his content outside of what he said to me as well. I saw his response to Tom York, who said that he thought that the self-defense arguments from Israel had.
It's Tom York is
so can I not comment on that as well?
No, you can comment on the Tom York stuff, but I'm saying that you think he was like snarking you by just saying you sounded like Destiny in that clip. Because I hate to say it,
snarks in general.
You sound like Destiny in that clip. You sound like Destiny in that clip, okay? I feel like that's not like an insane thing for Needle Drop to say. It's not an insane thing for Anthony to say that you sound like Destiny in that clip. You sound like Destiny all the time, but especially in that clip. You did the faces, you did like the word. You sound like Destiny in that clip. And I understand it's an out-of-context clip. I was going to ask you what the context is. I'm not sure if you know it. But like,
you sound like you're dropping like 10.
Dude, Barry just like hit this guy's soul. Okay, this is JJK. He's doing like, he's hitting this guy's soul right now. He's changing the shape of this guy's soul. Dude. This is so fucked. What an asshole, man. What a fucking loser Barry is.
Say they sound like Destiny in that clip. You sound like Destiny all the time, but especially in that clip, you did the faces, you did like the word. Yeah, you sound like Destiny in that clip. And I understand it's an out-of-context clip. I was going to ask you what the context is. I'm not sure if you know it, but like
you sound like you're dropping like 10 things on me at once. I don't know if you want to just pick one. Like, do you want to talk about Fantano? And I don't know what's wrong with me calling out
Fantano
him.
Is responding
I want to
saying
know.
He's snarking you. I think it's a fair comment. You do like kind of sound like you're doing a Destiny impression there and all the time.
And then he's asked what my positions are. I give them to him, and I assume he has no idea what my positions are. And then he says, "Oh, you might want to work in the genocide."
Wait, hold on. Let's be fair. You already said he was bad faith when he asked what your positions are. So you think when you're saying those positions that he's bad faith. So you don't. So you why? Just because he's saying you sound like Destiny, but you kind of do in that clip, no?
Because I've seen the way that he behaves with other people. What are you talking about?
Well, he behaves to other people, and so you're just mad at him for being dumb about Tom York. I mean, I agree. He's like dumb about Tom York.
I think that's a good example. No, wait, sorry. Do you think that Anthony Fantano is like a reasonable voice in Israel Palestine? Do you think he knows anything?
Probably more reasonable than a lot of people. He doesn't know much, but he's pretty reasonable. I think he's more reasonable than most people.
Really?
Yeah, he's reasonable. He has like the very normie position. That's a reasonable position. The normie position is reasonable. Yeah.
Just having the normie, just following the normie position is reasonable? What, just because everyone else is doing it? Because all his fucking mates are doing it?
Not because everyone else is doing it.
What are you talking about?
It's like fine to like not know much, but to realize that there's obviously a humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza. Yeah, that's like a fine position to have. Does he have like a detailed understanding now?
Well, his issue isn't that there's just a humanitarian crisis in Gaza, because if that was the issue, then he wouldn't have had to go at Tom York. He had an issue with Tom York because Tom York called out Hamas.
Him going after Tom York's retarded. Yeah, I agree. But him going after you is fine. Him commenting that you like your toddler's clip. I understand it's out of context, but it looks bad.
If he's gonna ask my positions and I give him a list of like at least 4 things that I think are fairly
your list was like memeing.
And then
you were like mocking him in that clip, and then he like owned you with his like rape comment, right? Because your list, you say 4 positions, but then what's 5 and 6? You're just trying to mock him.
Yeah, it's just sense of humor.
So it's not like you're trying, because you already think he's bad faith, but now you're trying to pretend that you're like genuinely engaging with him. That's my issue.
Why are you trying to debate me on a fucking Twitter spat? What's wrong with you?
So you don't want to talk about this? Come on. So okay, it feels
no,
to me
we
like
can. I just understand. Like, yeah, you're arguing over who got owned on the internet. I mean,
because you're like trying to have it both ways. Well, I do want to. Thank you very much. And that was another Destinyism, by the way. If you want to, that you just did. Anyway, so
wow,
that's another one right there. So you are telling
saying wow is a Destinyism?
I'm sorry, but it is. I'm sorry, but it is. It's really. I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it. Ask a fucking linguist. I don't know.
I can tell you hate to say it. It sounds like you're desperate to throw in Destinyisms. Wow, he should copyright that one.
I can't believe you would say that. Listen, man. Okay, so you're saying I was just genuinely giving my 4 positions, but you weren't. In that comment you made, you were like 5, 6. I never said it. You were trying to mock him because you thought he was already being bad faith. So you
didn't I already say it was half serious, half joking? Didn't I already say it was half serious, half joking?
Yeah, I agree with that. But so you're trying to pretend.
So you just described what I was doing, even though, but you have a problem with it now.
I'm building up to a point. My problem with it is that you're trying to pretend that like you're actually giving those positions. Why? So you think that he's being unreasonable, but you're being unreasonable by trying to like hit the. Oh, I've never said the N-word, by the way, which you have. You said the N-word in private. You've admitted this on multiple podcasts, but that's putting that aside.
Should I have said the N-word on YouTube? Yeah, got him. Bam, bam.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I don't understand why you're going to sit there and be like, I was just training you.
Wait, Loner lied in that tweet. You can't. Wait, no. If you lied in that tweet, you're totally raped. You lied. You said you never said the N-word. Most people, everyone is going to take that to mean you've never said the N-word. But you have said the N-word. You say the N-word behind the scenes. You just don't say it on your stream.
Being spurting out with the genocide message, with the genocide tweets. But like,
I say the N-word pretty much any time a black person annoys me, to be honest.
He's saying that you're like not engaging seriously, and he mocked you afterwards.
Okay, yeah, he did. But by ignoring everything I said, he said, might want to talk about genocide.
Yes, by ignoring everything you said, because you weren't engaged. You were just trying to like go, oh, you've said the N-word because you're like a loser.
Well, I was engaging. I gave him some positions. That you'd think would maybe spark some curiosity, because I imagine in his head he probably pigeoned me into a fucking like Netanyahu lover with that first comment. So
dude, that Kyle Kalinske tweet where he's like, the only time I say the N-word is when I'm in my car alone listening to rap music. What can I say? I just really hate Drake. So good, man. That is a classic. That is a classic.
Like correcting a few things or maybe giving him some food for thought.
Whatever. I feel like
I'm also just like a humanizing of
you
the
weren't
self.
doing that.
Like that's probably a bit of a.
You said
technique
I
as
like
well.
indie. What did you say? I like Indian folk music. It's like the most like roboted possible response you could give. It sounds like you've
Classical
never heard a
guitar
song
and
in your
indie
life.
alternative.
Yeah,
What,
like
classical
name an
guitar
album
and
or
indie
something.
alternative?
Like name an album or something. He does album reviews. Why would you name like the fucking? You sound like you're picking your favorite song in The Sims 3. That's what it sounded like, man.
Damn. Am I getting
like,
mocked now?
Yes. But it's
By
not, I'm
these
not trying to make a
comments.
big deal of it. I'm trying to make a big deal of it. It's just like pathetic that you
I mean,
think
you are
like,
making a
you
big
were
deal of it. You're fucking
genuinely
rambling.
Trying to.
You're speedrunning. You're like out of breath with this fucking battle rap attack.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking quickly. I can slow down, man. It's okay. You're saying that you were trying to give him food for thought, but no, you were just trying to like mock him with those like final 2 comments. But then he
I mean, we know
raped
for a
you.
fact that he had to Google who Marwan Barghouti was, right? We
Yeah,
know that
because
he
he
didn't know
probably
who that guy
doesn't
was.
care much about. He doesn't know enough about the situation. Yeah, he's like a normie person. That's what I've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but he still uses.
Right,
it as
I feel
a
like I'm not
bludgeon
gonna lie.
against people for giving-
If I assume that if I know something about Israel Palestine, everyone knows it. That's my general rule, and I know about Marwan Barghouti, so I'm assuming Anthony Fantano knows about him. I think Anthony Fantano, like, he's not like crazy invested in this stuff, but I feel like he does. He probably reads the news and shit and reads people talk about it.
Like the slightest critique of the Free Palestine kind of doctrine or like truisms that go around on from the Tom York side, but it seems like you agree with that, and it seems like what I was
agree.
saying.
That's stupid, yeah.
And it seems like my whole 4 paragraphs, my 4 paragraph spurg out, it was actually 3 paragraphs. It's not even that much.
Well, to be fair, one's like a tubal size paragraph.
It's given the way that he treats other people who defy the marching orders. Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate to say. Did I say anything wrong there? Not really.
Well, it's not about you saying anything wrong. And well, I think that you're like being a crybaby about the whole. Oh, it's all a cult, and there's nothing you can say to affirm these people, and don't even concede anything about
That's
Israel.
absolutely true. These guys fucking.
Yeah, you're crying about
compliments.
leftists on Twitter. It's like pathetic, man. Like, grow up. I just think like you should grow up. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about how you're trying to pretend that you're like cool, chillax and whatever, but you're a 3 paragraph spurg out. That's what annoys me.
I mean,
yeah, obviously, like, grow up. It's like people on the internet are going to criticize you. Yes, I'm aware of this.
I mean, I was frustrated when I was typing it. I was annoyed by him, but then I was calm when I was talking about it the next day. Is that not possible?
Yeah. Well, it's possible, but then you're like framing it in the commentary.
We'll give it that.
You're framing it like you were calm at the time. You're framing it like you were calm at the time, and you're admitting now that you were actually very frustrated and upset because he did mock you with his genocide tweet.
Yeah. Okay. I was frustrated by him being an idiot, but. Okay.
Yeah, so you were like mad. So you were mad and seething, so he owned you. So you agree with me, he owned you.
Yeah, I think it's okay to get annoyed sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Well, you think it is wrong to get annoyed if it's at the wrong people, right? It's like you get mad that people are annoyed at Destiny, like you made fun of Lonerbox for going after Destiny, the pedophile, for being a neglectful father. You said, how dare you? How dare you? Don't do that. You think it's wrong to get mad about...
But your impression of me is me seething. I was just saying that it's stupid that going after a 14-year-old is weird.
He's not going after a 14-year-old. He's going after Destiny for being a neglectful father, but whatever.
Calling the 14-year-old a Nazi is not going after them? Like putting them in the spotlight? What are you talking about?
Putting him in the spotlight, so we have to wait for him to be 18 to point out that Destiny's an abusive, neglectful father? That's what we have to do? Okay, I see.
Well, we're not talking about being we're not even talking...
Okay, well, here's the thing. It's just like both sides can retaliate. Parry's not actually addressing the point. But Lonerbox saying putting it in the spotlight, it's in the spotlight. Destiny has allowed it to become in the spotlight. Like, it's just in the spotlight. There's been fucking, mainstream attention on it.
About him being an abusive or neglectful father. They were talking about him being a Nazi. Like, how many 14-year-olds go through Nazi phases? Like,
probably ones with neglectful parents. Probably. If I had to guess, it increases the chances.
Sure? Okay, so you've
Does
never...
Does it increase or decrease the chance? Does it increase or decrease the chance, Lonerbox?
I have no idea if it increases or decreases the chance.
Well, then you're retarded. Most Nazis
were fucking middle class. I mean, most Nazis in the beginning were middle class.
You idiot. We're talking about people with a Nazi face. We're saying that Destiny's son is acting out because Destiny's a neglectful father, and you spurg out about it. So yeah, you do think it's bad to talk about certain things. You're like, you're getting mad about the wrong thing. It's like, yeah, you think it's bad. You think it's bad.
Well, to use a 14-year-old having a Nazi phase as an attack against their parent is kind of strange. Yeah.
No, I agree. They should focus more about the fact that he left him when he was young and just uses him for like dunks by, I'm going to take my son to the Holocaust Museum. It's pathetic. I agree. But listen, not everyone's fully informed about the situation. If you want to make a video about it, I would encourage you, obviously. But the idea that, like, I can't be upset about something, but you would say the exact same thing about Needle Drop when he posted that thing about Destiny. So, yeah, I guess the answer is yes by your own logic.
What was I upset at? Wait, you're all over the place. You're mixing up your words. Who was I?
You said.
I was annoyed at
Oh, I'm not
Needle
allowed
Drop
to be
from
annoyed
York.
at Needle Drop. And I guess I was going to say because you get big mad when people make certain types of tweets. So yes, you're not allowed to post.
I feel like Barry should have stuck to the actual points, the more substantive points, and tried to like just take a fucking breather every few minutes and just let Lonerbox speak for a second, because he has been spazzing out for a minute now. He's been kind of spazzing the fuck out for a minute now.
This one, this 3-paragraph one, according to you.
Yeah, he had notes.
I have no idea what you're trying to say now. Can you summarize?
You.
It was better when he doesn't just totally
Go
spaz
for it,
out, when he
like-
keeps it a little bit on track. Like, it's fine to have moments where he spaz out, but he just like goes off the rails sometimes.
Needle Drop. And then when talking to you, you said to me,
It just turns
well,
non-ten.
Perry, am I not allowed to get like big mad about stuff? And I'm saying, no, I mean you are, but I mean you mock people for quote unquote being upset about other stuff, and you're wrong to do so.
What did
And
I?
feel,
Well, obviously, if you get mad at something that's like unreasonable, so people getting mad at ContraPoints, for example, when she said nothing wrong, yeah, I think that is an issue. Or people getting mad at the Tom York take, yeah,
ContraPoints is like way
but that's
gayer than
because of
Tom
the
York's,
arguments
but
that are being
whatever.
made. Do you understand that, like, if someone gets angry at someone for saying something that's actually like fairly uncontroversial, even having a good take, of course I'm going to criticize them for having an issue with that. You'd be like, why would you have an issue with that? Unless
Needle Drop say that was unreasonable? It's because he posted a genocide definition and it's upset you. So yeah, I'd say that is unreasonable.
Wait,
It's
why
for
are you
to get mad
autistic?
at being
Like,
humiliated.
why are you autistic?
yeah?
Why do you think he just posted the definition of genocide? Like, is it
To
a vacuum?
humiliate you, to mock and humiliate you, and it worked.
Or to purity test me because he's a
No,
moron,
really,
doesn't
yes,
know anything
to
about
humiliate
conflict,
you, yes.
and doesn't know how to engage with my points about
He posted the most annoying thing possible to you. He said, have you considered this dictionary definition of genocide?
Yeah,
And you spurred
it
the
is
fuck
annoying.
out. You spurred the fuck out.
It is kind of
So,
annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
he
is
kind of
annoying when
mugged you.
people don't
Yeah.
take
So
the
be
discourse
honest about
seriously.
it.
Yeah.
Don't lie, like in your fucking Cope and Seed fucking video, where you're like fucking like, yeah, it's so these people are the guys, and I indubitably typed this simple little ditty here. It's like you're pretending like this wasn't like written with like both hands at 140 words per minute.
What, the paragraphs?
Yeah, I'm saying that you were like spurting out when you were writing this.
Like I was setting the keyboard on fire, breathing heavily as I typed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
See, but now you're just gonna like try and meme out of it because you realize that if you admit that you were upset during this, you have to pretend it's all chillaxed or whatever. Because if you admit that you were
I
upset during
admitted that I
this,
was slightly. I admitted
you
that
look
I was
like a
bit
loser.
frustrated.
No, you didn't.
I said I was
No.
frustrated.
You said I'm just annoyed that the left is purity testicle. You didn't say that I was upset that Anthony Fernando.
Frustrated and annoyed are the same thing. I don't.
Say, but not the reason. You didn't say the reason. The reason was that Anthony Fernando mocked you, and you refused to admit that.
Oh.
And now you're
I
gonna
need to admit that I got owned. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what if
Now
I
you're gonna meme
disagree?
out of
No, I
it.
strongly I think that's just your opinion, bro.
Well, no, I'm
You
saying that
weren't
you got
there.
mocked because
What do
you
you know?
posted the image. That's what I'm
You're
saying.
getting owned right now. Can you admit that?
And see, you're just memeing out of it. It's like so pathetic to me, man. It's so pathetic.
He's
to me.
Paris
This
can't
entire
get raped now, he
conversation
lost
is a
his way.
meme. You're arguing about who got owned
You
on
don't
the
want to
internet.
engage. You don't want to engage properly. It's like I'm just trying to get
Engage
across
with
the idea.
the
that you-
objectivity of who got owned on the internet. The science
Well,
of who
kind
got
of.
owned
He
on the
totally lost his way. He should have stuck to the points, should have actually kept his mind on track. He just totally spurged out.
Kind of, yeah. You do that all the time. You
People
do
who,
that all the
like, people who
time.
lean
Whenever
towards
you quote
Santana would say
tweets-
that he owned me.
whenever you
People
quote
who lean
tweets, you try
towards
and
me would say that
objectively
I
own.
owned him. That's what they would
That is
do.
what you
Yeah,
do.
that's usually what they would do.
You try and objectively prove that you like defeat people with your quote tweets, right? You were sitting on stream trying to say, I objectively owned Hassan by making fun of his shirt. Right? You do this all the time, where you try and objectively defeat people. I don't know why you're pretending. I don't know why you're pretending not.
I mean, I can challenge people on facts or on arguments, yeah, but
It's not about facts or arguments. You were banned at the shirt he was wearing, right? So you're more than happy to try and objectively prove that like your epic dunks are good. But now that I'm pointing out that someone else were objectively owning you, you're like upset.
okay.
And you're memeing out of it again. It's pathetic.
Okay,
What, by
dude.
laughing at you? What if I just genuinely
basically,
find
it's
you
like,
kind of funny?
Whatever, man. Well, I'm pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But thank you.
So I'm allowed to laugh? No, you're memeing
Only
out
if
of
you're
it.
nice about it. Only if you're nice
You
about
got owned and you're memeing out of it. That's what just happened there.
it. It's like, I mean, I can't believe you're doing this right now.
Am I memeing out of it?
He's losing.
You're like
Barry's
doing, you know,
losing.
it's very similar to when you did I'd do that. So that's what this is like. It's like you're like trying to pretend that you're like chillaxing, sitting back, whatever, while the other person is like, oh, can I show you my panties? And you're like, I do that. That's what you're doing right now. You do the exact same thing in this conversation that you did with Kosher Katie.
Dude. Harry, you know Harry's just desperate now, okay? This is working. I'll give it to him, it's working. But he's desperate. This is like pure emergency. Like, I'm totally raped. I need to pull something out. I'd do that. Just like, and just... Pure back against the wall shit is like totally over. Just needs to pull it back.
Relaxing, sitting back, whatever. While the other person is like, "Oh, can I show you my panties?" And you're like, I do that. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You do the exact same thing in this conversation that you did with Kosher Katie. I understand why you act this way, man. Like, just
What's your
engage
position?
with the world.
I thought we were against using content that was leaked without someone's consent against them. I thought that was a bad thing.
When did I say that?
Is it not a bad thing?
No, I'm using it to mock you. Of course not. I'd love to mock and humiliate you. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
You're a Kosher Katie.
If someone
you were saying
said,
jerking off.
if someone
Are you
sent me
left or
your,
right-handed? You were jerking off and going, I had to do that. If someone
so
said
if someone
to you,
sent me your revenge porn, I could just like broadcast it to mog you.
that wasn't
online.
revenge porn. Those were sexed. Don't lie.
Are
Don't
sex
lie, man.
not the same principle as revenge porn? It's
Well,
intimate
if someone
content
leaks
that's released
revenge
without
porn,
consent.
if someone leaks revenge porn and someone else leaks nudes, I would say that that's an escalation. So no, they are not the same thing.
Okay, man. They are related to Destiny, of course. Of course. You can't you just like draw some gay arbitrary line on sexually explicit or something? I feel like you just can.
They're not the same principle?
They're not the same principle. You can have a similar principle with them, but it's one-to-one. You can't like escalate from one to the other.
What do you mean you can't? We're not talking about escalating. We're talking about.
You're saying, can I leak your nudes, Parry? I mean, listen, no, you can't. Just to be clear, but that's what you're saying. I'm saying that I'm
intimate messages. That's fine. So intimate messages is fine.
Yes,
it's not,
yes.
Porn.
I can talk
okay.
about you saying, I do that because it is embarrassing to you.
So that's kind of
but
weird.
If
so
you post Anna Var's nudes, that is an escalation. Yes.
If Anna Var was beefing with me and I started
What?
leaking like sexts of hers that were given to me, I think that would probably be bad.
I agree.
That would
I agree.
probably be quite bad.
I agree.
Oh,
yes,
but it's
I
okay
agree.
for men. Oh, okay, right.
It's
so
okay
you're
for
like
men. No, it is a.
You're like a.
Okay, well, why is Parry like tied to this? If you're trying to tie it to this Destiny shit, then you're not willing to have the argument about the Destiny shit. You're like next level retarded. This is like so dumb. Obviously, the point is because Lonerbox has totally mischaracterized that. If you actually take the situation, because the difference is that Destiny is making false claims about Anavar, saying they have no relationship and she's stalking him. Anavar is saying, "Stop lying about me, stop smearing me. I have evidence to the contrary. I will release that." And that is what Destiny is taking to be. You are essentially revenge porning me, therefore I can revenge porn you. That's obviously not justified because Anna is justified in attempting to clear her name of being a stalker. If you have to leak some slightly compromising, obviously we would all see sexts as less compromising, sexually explicit image, for instance. If you have to leak some small portion, possibly redacted, to clear your name, that's totally justified. That is 100% justified. And if you don't think that's justified, you're like total retard. And that's even justified under any like fucking logic Destiny would cook up. There is actually no world where if Destiny was in that situation, he would not cook up that exact logic to be able to clear his own name. We'll watch Trump's statement in a bit.
You're a misandrist. Fuck.
It's a DM. It's on a news.
Probably got owned here, eh? Probably got owned in this conversation again.
You're just like a
Now you're gonna be
crybaby,
mad.
man. The fact that you think someone saying, I do that to you is
I'm
the
not
same as showing
mad. You're
someone's full nude
mad.
body.
I'm not mad. You're mad.
It's just pathetic. It's obviously not the same thing, and you're going to pretend it is in order to...
Okay, now, dude. Harry's just like raved. He's just like, it pretends the same thing.
I didn't say it was the same thing, but apparently you said there'd be a problem if I leaked sects of Anavar to get back at her in an argument.
Yeah.
That would probably be quite embarrassing, wouldn't it?
No, not sex. I said nudes, you idiot. No, I'm saying that, like...
What if it was sex? So if I found Anavar sexting someone and they sent me that, and I used that and published it to have a go at her...
You can do it to me because I did it to you. Obviously, I'm doing it to you because I'm a piece of shit. But if you want to respond to me, it wouldn't be by posting my nudes. It would be by posting my intimate...
Why didn't you just admit that in the first place? Why did it take
That's
you
what
like
I said. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that. And you know I...
Wait. One of the Unfuck America Tour debaters was debating Charlie Kirk when he got shot. Dude.
I agree with you, and so now you're gonna cry and like whine about it, okay? Listen.
Yeah, no, I know Parker was there. We watched Parker talk about being there, but he's not on the Unfuck America Tour. He's not on that. He's not part of that group.
Man, not a good look. Sit back in your chair. Sit back in your chair and go. I do that. Yeah, epic. ... Type ... at me IRL right now. So you know.
No, Perry's cat.
Anything else, but you'll probably call that a Destinyism. I would ask if you have anything else, but you'll probably call that a Destinyism.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, obviously. There's other ways to say that, but you say it in the most Destiny way possible. It's pathetic, yes. me personally, I would try and not act like a known doxer pedophile, but that's just me, man.
Dude.
Can I just
Well, I thought
say
you were
one
in a position-
comment,
I thought
Loner?
you identify with that behavior.
One comment, Loner.
This guy is just like endless.
How
he
the
said,
fuck can you care about
Let's
this?
fucking go. Let's fucking
How
go.
the fuck can you care about this if you actually believe there's a genocide in Gaza?
What?
Well, this guy doesn't give a fuck. This guy is just
No,
purely
I'm
like
asking
a
how the
fucking
fuck he can
internet
care
retard.
about who owned who on the internet when you believe there's a genocide in Gaza.
Yeah, I'm saying this guy doesn't care. This guy is an internet retard.
No,
Yeah,
that's
he
not what-
lost two
that's not what
arguments
Seb is
about
saying.
famine. You lost an argument about
Hey.
fucking Albanese, and then you lost an argument about fucking.
You're literally coping on stream. Coping
military
on stream
targets.
about your arguments. You lost the debate we just had, by the way. It's so pathetic. So pathetic.
Why is it
Can't even
coping
wait
if,
for you to
if
leave.
I say that you lost the
Usually
debate,
it's
but
an
it's not coping if
embarrassing
you say I did?
Because I'm right.
Why is only one coping? Oh,
It would be
okay.
coping if it's not true. That's how it works.
Oh, but what I said is true.
But it's not. See, now you're memeing out of it again. It's like, I know, but you're just saying memeing out of it.
I'm not
It's
memeing.
like so
do you think I believe that's false?
Well, no, I just
I'm being
think
very
that's,
serious.
Like,
This
we
is
didn't even have
kinda
an argument to
painful.
defer. I was just asking
Barry,
questions.
making it
You're
so
like,
painful.
actually, I think that you can like blow up food trucks or whatever. I think it's pathetic, but whatever.
Are you going to pretend to care about food trucks getting blown up after?
I
Okay.
do care. I care like a decent amount, same way like an individual would.
I
also,
don't
like,
think
look
you
into
care
it
at
every
all.
single day. Well, because I said I do that, so I don't care about Gaza. Is that really?
No, just like
where
the
we're at
general
right now?
behavior. Yeah, of course you don't fucking
So
care.
the
What?
general behavior of me making fun of you.
This is
I mean,
like
you had quite a lot
lame.
of
Okay, now
opportunities
Lonerbox is being kind of gay. Is that the idea? Like, dude, it's like Lonerbox. This is literally virtue signaling. This is virtue signaling. I'm sorry, this just is. You're not treating this discussion with the seriousness that it requires. Like, yeah, people don't take everything totally fucking seriously. It doesn't mean like they don't fucking like have any care towards something that's happening in the country. People are able to talk about things that are a further proximity away from them with a bit more levity. They're able to, obviously. That doesn't mean they don't care or don't care in principle. Like, even if you don't feel it 100%, there's a principle caring. There's a principle believing this should be the principle. I mean, it's just like so lame to do this. Oh, you didn't care about the genocide in Gaza. You didn't care about. It's like lame from both sides. Again, it's a both side. It's a both sides thing, kind of. This is exceptionally gay though.
To talk about the issues in
There are
front
so
of an
many
audience.
people you
but
engage with, so
wasted
many
it
people
on,
you engage
internet
with
troglodyte shit.
that
So,
just
yeah.
go around being pedophiles, like doxing, and you think that they're serious actors, but I'm not a serious actor because I make fun of you.
Well, it seems that this is your
answer
one.
is yes.
You've got like
The
a
answer
chance
is
to talk
yes.
about this to an audience, and you're not
The
really
answer is
using it.
yes.
So
I have my own audience. It's okay. I don't need your audience. I would like your audience. They'll come to me. They'll find their own way to this world. But it's insane. Like, you're more than happy to speak with like pedophiles, dogs, and like reveal personal information. But when it's with me, it's like you're just gonna cry about it because
I don't
said
believe
to
I've
them, I do
ever-
that.
I don't believe I've ever
Spoken
spoken to
uh-huh.
someone on the premise that they were a pedophile.
No,
but,
it's just an
okay.
ancillary piece of information about them, I guess.
Oh,
That's true.
okay. It's just a random, just memeing out of it. I see.
That's not what I've done. I'm saying
Very
that they are a
unserious.
pedophile. That
Very
wasn't the premise of the
deeply unserious.
conversation. Now you're not engaging with what I'm saying. Very sad.
You want to talk
Like-
about politics?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about politically?
I already talked about the things politically.
Dude, Perry
We
sucks.
already-
man.
Do you want to talk about any other politics?
Well, nothing comes to mind.
He's just like throwing, dude.
Let me think. Do you think? What do you think about the chorus stuff? Did he kick me? He kicked me. I asked him about the chorus stuff. He kicked me. What the hell? What a fucking crybaby. He's getting paid by chorus, by the way. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Lonerbox getting paid by chorus can't answer a question about whether or not he's getting paid by chorus. Kicks me from his server. What a fucking loser. This guy hangs out with Destiny the pedophile all day. Can't hang out with fucking. Can't handle him. I do that. What a fucking crybaby loser. I know it says Lonerbox is in here, guys, because fucking. This thing is it's broken.
Okay.